The preceding program was brought to you in part by this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm Pete Mezzetti. My guest this evening is Glenn Longarini, who's the Executive Director of the CIAC.
Pleasure to be back, Pete.
Hello, my friend. It's been a while.
It's been a little bit. We had a nice string, but I think been a few months.
It's been a few. How you been?
Things are going very well.
What's
we're off to a great 25-26 school year. The fall season was a terrific season, and we're well into the winter season now. Winter championships will be with us before we know it, and then the pitchers and catchers will be going.
There you go. How was the run for the Sun?
So Mohegan, we're looking forward to getting back there. We'll be there the 21st and 22nd of March this year. So again, one of those, right around the corner.
Exactly.
And we are in the process of setting up all of our pre-planning meetings with them. We'll be meeting at the end of the month a couple times in February, and then March is here, and there we go. But, looking at some of the games and the standings that are out there right now, real good teams, a lot of close races for top 10 positions in a lot of divisions. Really seeing some great competitive schedules out of the Division 1 teams as well, with even some schools taking advantage of out-of-state tournaments and games and representing Connecticut very strongly in those games. So really looking forward to basketball, and winter season is off to a great start.
How was the fall season?
Fall season was a very good success. Our regular seasons, again, provided some great competition right through our conference tournaments. Coming into the state championships, again, really good competition with some, like in running and cross country, we had some nationally ranked runners just doing incredible things, went on to the New England championships and performed at high levels there as well. If you came to any of our soccer games, we had, games ending in penalty kicks. I think there was one game that was decided by more than one goal.
Really?
And so just great competition throughout. The football games were great when we got to them. That's one of the excitement of Connecticut is beside Connecticut, Texas is the only other state that plays championships as late as we do. But it's Texas.
Right. And
they play in AT&T Stadium, so you don't have to worry about weather. And but in
they
Connecticut,
don't play in AT&T Stadium.
They do, yeah. Yeah, Jerry Jones gives the University Interscholastic League the stadium, so they play there at no cost, and it's great. I'm sure a great experience. And here in Connecticut, though, we battled the weather, and and this year the snow was challenging and the weather was challenging for us. So that certainly created some issues with venues as well as timing for games.
Yeah. Now, is the championship for football, it's always, can it be moved or no?
No. So what locks us into that is 2 years ago, there was legislation that was passed late in the legislative cycle. I want to say it was the day or night before the last day of the session. Okay. That was put into a finance bill. because that's a good place to put
Sure.
interscholastic athletic stuff. But,
Why not?
but there was legislation that put in there that prohibits schools and boards of ed from creating policies that would allow third parties or nonprofits like CIAC to schedule games that prohibit them from playing football on Thanksgiving. So this all came out a couple years ago. There was a rumor out there that there was a proposal coming to CIAC to take over scheduling and to eliminate Thanksgiving football games. So part of that was true. A proposal came forward that asked the membership to seek whether or not there would be interest in a scheduling board or scheduling entity for Connecticut in football. And I think a lot of that was coming off of the back of the success of the Alliance, the Football Alliance, and the games that they had scheduled, and looking for ways to create more competitive schedules. No part of that proposal included eliminating Thanksgiving, but somehow it was reported that that was the case, and it got all the way up to legislators who I had a conversation with saying, no, this is not true. There is no proposal in front of us to get rid of Thanksgiving. But this, this one senator, I guess, was really worried about it. So he put that in there. So what really restricts us in that case is, you don't want a situation. Massachusetts has a situation where they start the playoffs, they pause the playoffs to have the Thanksgiving games, and then the week after Thanksgiving they play their championships.
Okay.
But that creates a lot of friction of, are you playing your best players? Because now you have a championship game the next week. So a lot of those Thanksgiving rivalries have diminished in interest because they don't have the best players playing on the field, on that day. And nobody seems to like in Massachusetts the separation.
Right.
So, so in Connecticut, looking at it, the way it sits right now, we can't start until after Thanksgiving because we can't schedule anything that would interrupt Thanksgiving football by state statute. So that gives us the 2 weeks after Thanksgiving to play football championships.
Okay. Very interesting.
Yeah, it's the way that that politics intersects is it's always interesting and something that I think the general public doesn't see as much as we do see at the state association level, but then also at our school levels. People are passionate about sports and they're passionate about athletic opportunities in today's world and day and age when you're looking at name, image, and likeness and the way that scholarship opportunities has changed and the money that's available. People, there were perceptions of the talent of my son or daughter before this was all available based on the limited availability of athletic scholarship. Now with the larger availability of NIL sponsorships and with now universities and colleges at the Division I level being able to directly pay student athletes, that creates a situation, I think even more so people are looking at, hey, this is my kid's pathway to education and their pathway to be at a better college. So that even intensifies, I think, the emotion behind sports. And this is where, we have that cross-section sometimes of the education world, the political world, and trying to maintain education-based athletics.
Now, as far as the spring goes, how's spring sports looking?
Spring will be good. We have everything lined up as we normally would. We will be expanding opportunities for girls flag football this year. So last year was the first state championship that we had in flag football. We had great participation, and so I think we'll see participation in that grow this year as well. So we're really excited about the the growth and possibilities that exist with flag football. Just diving back to winter sports for a quick second, another great growth we've seen is girls wrestling. Girls wrestling, several years ago, we started an individual tournament. And that grew to the point that we actually now we're talking about we may have to have qualifiers for the girls tournament because there's so many girls in certain weight classes that we can't accommodate it in the time frame of the tournament.
Really?
And then that extended to a girls team championship. And this year, we're seeing more than ever girl dual tournaments that are being scheduled, wrestling tournaments. So girls wrestling continues to grow in an upward trend here in Connecticut, and it's been that way for about 5 years. And we think flag football is going to be the next that's going to follow that trend in participation for our girls.
Now, as far as where'd the idea of flag football come from?
Flag football has been around for several years now. And, so some other states are ahead of us in those opportunities, but mainly the larger states. And, in Connecticut, what we wanted to make sure we took time to do, we didn't want to introduce a sport in a season that then would take away participation in existing sports. Participation in girls' spring sports, we've seen some challenges in that. While we've seen things like girls golf continue to expand and rise in participation in girls golf, we've seen participation in sub-varsity levels of softball, sub-varsity levels of lacrosse. We've seen those start to diminish and come down a little bit. So, we really wanted to be thoughtful of if we're going to introduce a new sport, the season that it would be in, how would it impact participation levels. We didn't want to diminish one to bring on the other. So that's why we planned out a little bit more and kind of watched what other states were doing in larger states that had more athletes to choose from. And then getting into flag football and making that decision, the NFL has been terrific. The Jets, the Giants, the Patriots have been incredible partners with us, as well as some representatives from the NFL headquarters as well, in supporting schools with funding to buy uniforms, for transportation, for startup costs of scheduling leagues, officials. So the NFL has been incredibly supportive, both in structure and finance for our member schools.
Cool. Would you mind sticking around for another segment?
Sounds good.
All right, we'll be right back.
You matter.
You matter.
You matter. And your words matter too.
Your words matter.
What you say in the hallways at school or in the student section at a game matters.
Words can be hurtful.
Words can be offensive.
Words can leave scars.
Words can also inspire.
Support.
And uplift.
You and your words.
Are they both important?
As a matter of fact, yes.
You're not gonna get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm Pete Mezzetti, sitting here with Glenn Longarini from the CIAC. Welcome back, sir.
All right.
All right. So we were talking about spring sports at the end of the segment. So let's pick up talking about spring sports and what we didn't talk about.
Yeah, back at it with, baseball, softball championships at UConn. Baseball, again, will be returning to Palmer Field. We are working on lacrosse right now. Lacrosse traditionally has been at Sacred Heart University. We had to leave Sacred Heart last year because they're under construction. And we were over at Fairfield University last year, Rafferty Stadium, gorgeous field. What a beautiful complex. It's a lacrosse stadium. And so, to just have lacrosse lines,
Right.
on the field. And, that's like going to the Hartford Athletic and playing at that stadium for soccer, where it's just soccer lines on the field. Beautiful complexes. So we're in negotiations now with both Sacred Heart and Fairfield to see where we'll end up with our lacrosse championships. But that's most of our venues, everything are set. But this is the time frame. Now is the time frame that we're working on spring and getting those wrapped up, and then before you know it, it'll be spring, and we're working on next fall again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And of course, I'm sure George DeMeo shows up somewhere in the mix.
George in the spring is a voice of high school softball, and does an incredible job out there right now, covering girls basketball, boys basketball, and hockey. Doing a great job on the out in East Haven, West Haven, and New Haven area there with coverage. And George did 3 of our football championships on the NFHS network. So
that's right.
George is a great partner and a talented man. We're fortunate.
Is. And you and I actually, I was doing an interview a couple weeks ago. Dama Moore from the Hartford Courant was in to talk about the book that he co-authored with Jim Calhoun.
Yeah, and
he's a really knowledgeable person.
Dom's been around for a long time, and so a talented writer, a talented reporter, and being able to co-author books with the likes of Jim Calhoun, I think, speaks to the respect that Dom earns from people in the sports world. So, we've often said, and my partner John Holt, says this all the time as well, as we go out and see what other states have in terms of high school sports coverage. We're really fortunate here in Connecticut.
Right.
Our sports coverage here in Connecticut for high school athletes is as good as it is anywhere in the country, and that's because there's a lot of dedicated sports writers, dedicated TV to the work that high school kids are doing, and it's greatly appreciated.
And I understand you guys also work closely with the NFHS.
Yeah, so the NFHS is our parent foundation.
Okay.
That is the National Federation of High Schools. Creates all of the rules for high school sports. So all the games that we're playing are governed by NFHS rules. All of our officials have to be certified in the NFHS rules. That's what all their tests are on to be able to get qualified to officiate high school games. So very close contact with the National Federation of High Schools.
Nice. What else is going on?
One of the great things that we had, events that we had this past fall was the Women in Leadership event. And we've done some little things like this in the past, but we've decided to try to, kind of take this to a next level. We wanted to really give a platform for our females in Connecticut to talk about and find ways to work through the obstacles and the challenges that they face in male-dominated positions. So this was whether you're in education, you're seeking a different field, could be media, in broadcasting, and something that where you are going to have some challenges as a woman coming in. And the nice thing about this event too, it was generational. So we had from middle school students attend, to high school students, to athletic directors, coaches, principals, superintendents, officials, athletic trainers. So it wasn't just geared toward one age group, and that was important to us as well. We wanted people in Connecticut, we wanted women and girls coming together to see the support that they had. So it was a sold out initiative that we had. We brought in Dr. Lauren Young, who is the executive director of the Vermont Principals Association and Athletic Association there. We brought in Dr. Carissa Niehoff, who is my predecessor here in Connecticut and is the CEO of the National Federation of High Schools now. And we brought in Molly Kiram. Molly is widely known for her work in the sports world. Her last venture was as co-host with Stephen A. Smith on First Take of ESPN.
Sure.
So between the three of them to really, talk about their journeys and, especially for our younger girls to hear the experiences of Molly and how social media reacts to Molly when she's on set with 4 or 5 other males in the sports world,
right.
and the expectations and how she handles that. And from an A-list celebrity standpoint, what she deals with in a social media perspective versus what we think might be hard to deal with at a local level. But when you look at what somebody nationally and the perspective that they gave to that, it was incredible the time that these attendees had. And all of them, Molly, Lauren, Carissa, they all took time during breaks and took time after to meet individually with anybody that wanted to sit and speak with them and meet with them. We had more positive feedback from that event and people that attended that than just about anything else that we run. So we're going to be looking forward to doing more of that in the future.
Okay.
And that was an outstanding success. Another program that we had was a combination of our Men of Color in Leadership and a previous version of Women in Leadership that we were running. And we joined this together to be a student empowerment day. And so we ran this at, where did we do? Farmington High School.
Okay.
And we had just under 1,000 student attendees. We had legislators attending, we had teachers, administrators attending, we had people from the business world attending, and with this there were a couple large group addresses where we had the kids in the gym and some keynotes that were speaking to them, and then we broke them out into panels of men of color of leadership, panels of women in leadership. We had sessions that were run just in Spanish for our Spanish-speaking students and to make cultural connections and ties. And the whole idea of this day is bringing our leaders in the state of Connecticut, whether you're a leader in marching band, debate, the football team, the girls lacrosse team, but to bring leaders together to collaborate with each other and find actions that we can take in our schools to continue and improve culture and climate. And again, what an outstanding success. Couldn't do it without the partnership of Farmington High School and their board and superintendent and what they partnered with us to do there. But that is something else that we're already planning for next year, and how do we make that bigger? So that's going to come up on Friday afternoon. We have that meeting with Farmington to set dates and look at that again next year.
Cool. We've got some more time left, so what else we want to?
Yeah, a lot of so certainly a lot of exciting initiatives happening with us as well. Some other exciting initiatives happening at CIAC, and I think oftentimes we forget that the Connecticut Association of Schools is the parent company.
Yes.
CIAC is a division of the Connecticut Association of Schools. So everything we look at is education-based, and one of the challenges that I think we have within our districts is making sure that we're reaching every student. And so looking at multilingual learners as well as multilingual families has been a point of emphasis for us this year as well. We're very fortunate that we were able to bring on staff this year Marissa Cardona. Marissa comes to us from the Meriden School District. So she comes over from there. Some great programs that she ran there in Meriden, and how to have outreach to multilingual learners and their families. So we've been running initiatives with that. We have another one coming in tomorrow talking about financial aid for colleges, talking about filling out college applications. So we're going to have about 75 families in Cheshire tomorrow working through this with Spanish-speaking parents and students. So a lot of work going on from that aspect as well. How do we reach as many of our participants and our families as we can in state? Some really great things happening there.
Cool. That sounds neat.
That's going to be, and I said a number of those going on. So that's just the first, and we have some more planned with a financial aid night coming up in February.
Okay.
A big event that we're going to be running at Southern Connecticut State University, but same thing through the lens of focusing on our multilingual learners and families from around the state to provide opportunities for them.
And if people want more information on all of what's going on and what we talked about tonight, where are they going?
Yeah, best place to go is that CAS, CIAC.org. That's CAS, CIAC.org. And from there, you can choose to go into our CAS website or our CIAC website.
And everything's there.
Everything is there that you need to know, and if there's something you can't find, the phone numbers are there, who to call, and we'll help you find it.
And who do you call? Who do you talk to when you call?
It depends on what you're trying to look for, but it could be me, it could be Greg Simon, my Associate Executive Director. It could be Karen Pachter, our Deputy Executive Director, or Dr. Alicia Bowman, who works on the CAS side with coaching and school districts. So depending on what your needs are, the phone will prompt you on who to dial.
There you go. Glenn Longarini, thanks for
Pleasure,
some time.
Pete.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Yes.
You got it. On behalf of Glenn Longarini, I'm Pete Mezzetti. Thanks. Good night. We'll see you next week. The preceding program was brought to you in part by